Hello aspirants and welcome again to Legacy IAS Academy. In this lecture, we will be discussing about the language test for the Assamese Bengal-origin Muslims. Now, the language which is there to communicate with each other it has been the case for quite some time. Of course, historically that has been the case, but recently more and more cases are coming out with respect to the conflicts or even leading up to violence that is happening with respect to the differences in the language. The best way forward is to appreciate each other's language, try to communicate in the other's language if possible. At least try for that. If you try for it, the other person understand that yes, the effort is there, rather than discriminating against that language, rather than being aggressive towards them. You can make things right just by the language of love and courtesy amongst each other. I think that's the need of the hour. Anyway, still what has happened here is again the issue with respect to language, but of course it's not limited to that only. There is a concept of the minority, etc., also the demography, etc., also which is involved, which could politicize the entire issue. So let's get started with respect to what the news is all about. So what happened is, one Mr. Mainuddin Ali, now the All India BTC Minority Students Union, so he's a part of that, right? So he's a part of that. He made a statement. So what statement did he make? He basically said, we'll erase Assamese language, reducing Assamese to minority. Now that statement was made after another statement which he made. He said that we Muslims are not going to write Assamese as our mother tongue in the census data. We would rather say it is Bengali. Why is that the case? What will that help him achieve? What will that help him achieve is that when more and more people write Bengali as the mother tongue, so in Assam what will happen? The Assamese speaking people in percentage wise will get lower. So he is sort of making a claim that we all Muslims will be writing, the Bengal-origin Muslims will write Bengali as our mother tongue, and we will ensure that Assamese language becomes the minority language over there. Now how ironic that is. Ironic because again, Muslims who are in minority, he is supposedly representing certain sections, which of course you don't have a claim to represent all the Muslims, of course, right? But maybe some sections he is representing, and then sort of threatening to make Assamese itself as a minority language. So what is that all about? There is some amount of irony in that. Anyway, let us stick to this topic and understand that what are the implications of this, what has been the response of the Chief Minister of Assam, and what can happen. So if you go more into the news, this call was a controversial call which was made by that particular personality. Now it is sort of a warning that Assamese language and community may become a minority, is sort of a warning that is given. So let us see what is the response of the government of Assam. Now the Chief Minister of Assam has responded, who is the head of the government, of course. So we'll see what the response are and what the implication of this is. Before that, an important announcement about the new batches that are going to start from 9th and 11th of August. So make sure you are enrolled with us before that. Once you enroll, you will be getting the teaching, the guidance, mentoring from the experts of UPSC, having given multiple personality tests and having experience of over 10 years each. So the advantage that you get over here is a comprehensive coverage of GS papers. Not a single micro topic as such is left out. You have one-on-one mentorship and doubt solving from the experts faculty that you saw, and not from any inexperienced one. You will have regular interactions with the educators. then the maximum size of the batch is only 40 students. So there will be individual attention on each and every student. There will be daily mains answer writing practice, which will be in addition to the prelims and mains test series, which is already there. One important aspect, another important aspect, in fact, is the 360-degree coverage of current affairs, wherein one particular day, one entire day of the week is given specifically to current affairs live classes only in order to comprehensively cover your current affairs. So you can simply download the app. The provision to subscribe will be present over there, or you can log on to our website or call this number to get yourself enrolled. So let's continue now with our news. So what has been the reaction of the public? So there are certain organizations with respect to the Assamese language, they have responded, and they will, because this was sort of a warning. So there will be a response, and we have seen that the Assam Sahitya Sabha has talked about that Assamese will not become a minority language. So it is just a response that you are saying it will, we are saying it will not, end of story. Then you have the All Assam Students Union, ASU. Now, basically, they have warned against this is sort of a linguistic blackmail, and they feel that if things like this happen, there is a possibility that in a decade or two, the things might change. So they predict a demographic shift which might be there. So they are taking this as seriously. Not that they are saying that they are scared of this or such, but they are predicting sort of that this is a possibility in the future, is what they have said. Now, what is the legal and constitutional dimension of language? See, any person has the right to speak the language they want, and here it is about writing or giving the data for the census. So I have the right to give whatever language I want to be the to be my mother tongue. I can be it Hindi, for example, Urdu, for example. I know Telugu, so probably I can write Telugu. If I learn better and I get better in Kannada, so I may write Kannada, or I can write Tamil. Now it's upon me. So I can also give Telugu as my mother tongue in the census. That is my right as to what language I want to speak, right? No one has the right to determine what I should write, right? So that right is my fundamental right, and that is there with me under Article 29 and 31 of the Indian Constitution, which is on cultural and educational right. So under the cultural right, language also comes. See, language is not just a language, it is the entire, it is a part of a bigger culture. It is a way of life. It is much more than the language. So it might be very easy to say, "Arey, why don't you speak Hindi?" Right? But then it is because it's a part of a culture of someone, some other state, to have some other language, people of that state to speak that language, and it works vice versa as well. Just an example of Hindi was taken, but it's not restricted to that. That applies to everyone. Everyone has the right to speak and give the data as per their own choice. So citizens are free to declare their mother tongue. I hope that's clear. Now, in addition to this, the census data cannot be used to determine the citizenship. Now, why this point comes up? This point basically comes up because what has happened is, I talked about the response of the Chief Minister of Assam. So Chief Minister of Assam has said, please mention the correct language so that we identify who are the foreigners. That statement is also wrong. It is incorrect. Why it is incorrect? Because what language you write cannot be the determinant of whether you are an Indian or a foreigner, right? It cannot be. And in fact, it cannot be a determinant of the state domicile also. Let's say, see, I'm being from state of Maharashtra, I might as well write Kannada as my mother tongue, or I might as well write Telugu as my mother tongue, but that does not decide whether I am a state domicile of Maharashtra or not. I will still remain a domicile of Maharashtra. I will still remain an Indian citizen. So here saying that we want you to write the correct language, based on the language we are going to decide who are the foreigners, etc., is uncalled for, because census data cannot determine citizenship or even the domicile. Now, what controversy is being created because of this is the blurring of line between cultural identity and citizenship, because such kind of things have been happening and such kind of responses have been coming from the higher ups. It is blurring the line. It is sort of cultural identity and citizenship. The line is getting blurred over here, that you are required to speak that language only, eat that only, do that only, is sort of blurring of that particular line. At the same time, there can be allegations of profiling and discrimination based on language. So what will happen? The government will have the entire data. There can then be allegations that based on the data, you will be discriminating against the people. Imagine me being a domicile of Maharashtra, end up writing Telugu as my mother tongue, and the government has that data. So there is a possibility of discrimination that can happen against a particular person or against a particular community who speak a particular language. So that is also a possibility. Now, what are the political implications? The very first political implication is language being used as a polarization tool. It being used as a polarization tool, and when we use it as a political polarization tool, when the government or when anyone in authority uses it as a political polarization tool, what happens is we, the people of India, forget the issue of security, the issue of jobs, the issue of economy, the issue of terrorism, etc. that is there, which affects all of us alike. Right? And we are all embroiled in these issues which are propagated, which are facilitated in order for us to keep fighting with each other on these issues. Rather, the things that we should be asking questions about are these, because whether you speak Hindi, Marathi, Kannada, Telugu, Tamil, Malayalam, Bengali or Assamese, all of our requirements are the same. Food, clothing, shelter, better education, better health, better roads, better transport, less of corruption, less of leakages, better democracy, better environment, less of pollution. All of our requirements are exactly the same. So we should ensure that none of them in power or who are propagating these things like fringe elements, let us think otherwise. Thank you.